छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
And on the nation's sharpest opinion, and on the program this evening, I want to address the issue that is on absolutely everybody's mind. It is a drawing room conversation. You go on a flight, you sit next to someone, they talk about it. You meet your friends, you talk about it. And that question is simple. How have there been so many spies operating in the country unchecked for so long? Suddenly out of everywhere, out of every open cupboard, skeletons of spies are coming out. You have so many spies caught all over the country, all of whom are gathering information and passing it on to the Pakistanis. So how is it that there has been such a spy catch overnight? Where were these people who were gathering intelligence at various levels? I'm not saying they are spy masters, they're not. Maybe they are minions, but they are traitors nevertheless. How have they been operating? Do we keep saying we have a great intelligence setup, we have advanced information? Then when these assets were being cultivated, when these traitors were being cultivated, then did we not know? Or is it suddenly that we have sharpened our skills after Operation Sindoor? Or is it because there is a clearer political direction that has gone out right now, maybe from the highest levels, that we need to have a no-nonsense policy when it comes to people who are working against national interest at every level? I believe so. This is my own view. You see a very sharp hit on Maoist terrorism. You see a very sharp hit on the Tukre Tukre group, on the anti-nationals. You're seeing very sharp, exchanges going on about how the Indian armed forces should go through another technological upgrade. The defense budget should go up. But you see, matters of external and internal intelligence are all linked. Just as I always feel, matters of internal security and external security are all linked, and we need not keep this artificial divide. And that is why I'm privileged and very, very happy today that my guest tonight, who I'm introducing before our first report, is someone who is a legend. His name is Vikram Sood. A lot of people know him. Everyone knows him. He's been former head of the Research and Analysis Wing. He's a very accomplished author, an expert, and he's also advisor now to the ORF. And so I'm really pleased to have you, Vikram Sood ji, with us this evening. And I really think that the question on everybody's minds is, how have so many spies operated in India, is something I will be able to ask you in the course of the program, and you can share your details with us. So first of all, wanted to introduce you. That's Vikram Sood, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely legend of a man. So we are all so proud of him. In terms of introduction, I have very little to say beyond the fact that when you have dozens of spies going around, you read their profiles, you try to find out who are these people. Now, these are not people who are walking around in shadowy corners, wearing, long jackets, silhouetted and caps. This is not out of some spy thriller. These are people who are like Jyoti Malhotra. She runs a channel in YouTube called Travel with Joe. She has 4 lakh subscribers. She was being developed as an asset. She goes to Pakistan 3 times, also before Pahalgam, and she meets Pakistani High Commission staffers and who have now been expelled, and she's just operating like a normal person, and nobody suspects anything about her, and she's quite open. She is a person constantly on social media, operating freely. Then there's the case of Tofail. He's from Varanasi. He's spying for Pakistan. He shares photos of sensitive locations like Gyanvapi, Red Fort with Pakistani contacts. Dangerous man, has links to Pakistan-run groups with several people in Varanasi, and he's in touch with 600 Pakistanis actively. How was he operating so freely? Then there is the case of Muhammad Haroon of Noida, arrested for being associated with the Pakistan-sponsored anti-national organization allegedly engaging in espionage activities. He was in connivance with an employee in the Pakistan High Commission, shared security-related information related to national interest. Then there is Devinder Singh. He is a student from Patiala. He is arrested in Kettle, and he's sharing information, including that of the Patiala military cantonment. And then there is Shehzad from Rampur in Moradabad. He is making multiple trips to Pakistan, running a cross-border smuggling racket in cosmetics, clothing and spices. So this is all over, ladies and gentlemen. All over. And people are flabbergasted. If this is the way, first of all, people are horrified that there are so many traitors within the country. It becomes so easy for Pakistan to buy Indians or people holding Indian citizenship, to work for them, to share information. How are these people operating? Were they working directly? What kind of intelligence do we have that people go to the Pakistan High Commission, do their deals, travel to Pakistan, come back, lead their lives, and till Operation Sindoor, they're just hanging around? What about the local police in all these areas? Do we have a system whereby, we have sleuths or detectives who follow these people? Do we keep a track of anti-national activities in this country, or is that considered peripheral to maintaining law and order? What law and order will we have when we are having, anti-nationals operate all around us? Personally, I'll conclude by saying, I think there's been too much political correctness in India, where you're not supposed to question people for their individual beliefs or their freedom of expression. And we stretched it to a point where I think the law and order machinery has felt almost on the back foot asking these people questions. You can turn around and say, I'm being targeted for my religion, I'm being targeted for my thoughts, I'm being targeted for my clothes. You see, and then the whole law and order machinery goes on the back foot. Then what's happening now? I think maybe there's a sharper political direction that's been given. So ladies and gentlemen, many questions on our mind. On the spy explosion debate, I'll have a short report, then I'm going to talk to Vikram Sood on the other side.
In the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, India has begun one of its biggest counter-espionage operation. After more than 12 arrests in the last 2 weeks, now a second Pakistan High Commission staffer, Mohammad Muzammil Hussain, has been declared person non grata.
पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन में ये दानिश के बाद मुजम्मिल का नाम सामने आया, जो कि जासूसी के आरोप लगे। हालांकि भारत ने उसको वापस मुजम्मिल को 24 घंटे के अंदर भेजने के जो निर्देश हैं वो साफ तौर पर दिए, लेकिन दानिश के बाद पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन का दूसरा मुजम्मिल और दिल्ली से हारून की गिरफ्तारी, जासूसी रैकेट के तार कहां तक फैले हैं, वो जांच का विषय बना दिया गया।
Uttar Pradesh ATS has arrested 2 alleged spies, Muhammad Haroon and Tufail, both of whom are accused of sharing sensitive information with Pakistan. Resident of Varanasi, Tufail was believed to be in touch with more than 600 Pakistani nationals and is accused of sharing sensitive pictures of Namo Ghat, Gyanvapi and Red Fort to Pakistani handlers. His family is in disbelief.
आपके भाई के जरा बैकग्राउंड के बारे में बताइए, क्या मिजाज के आदमी है, बातचीत में क्या है, क्या मिजाज?
मतलब कि शांत स्वभाव का आदमी था वो, और ज़्यादा बोलता नहीं था, कम बोलता था, शांत ज़्यादा रहता था।
लोग तमाम बात कर रहे हैं, क्या आप लोग के मन पे गुजर रही है?
सारा घर परेशान है, सारा घर जो है बिल्कुल स्तब्ध है। न्यायालय अपना जो विवेचना करेगी, उसका जो फैसला करेगी, उसको एक्सेप्ट किया जाएगा।
Another key arrest was of Muhammad Haroon, a scrap dealer in Delhi who is believed to be a very close aide of Pakistani embassy staffer Muzammil Hussain. Haroon, with his Pakistani wife, has emerged as a key party in Pak's espionage nexus.
दिल्ली में भी उनकी शादी हुई थी।
दिल्ली में शादी पहले की में।
मुजम्मिल के बारे में कभी बातचीत हुई?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ।
शादी हुई है उनकी पाकिस्तान?
ये बात तो हम बहुत हुआ कि शादी हो चुकी है वहाँ पर, ठीक है ना। और वो छोड़ने वाले थे उसे, क्योंकि वो परेशान हो गए थे। अब उन्होंने खर्चा पानी दे के उसे छोड़ो।
As Republic leads the investigation into the deep Pakistani spy nexus spread across India, the big question remains: how did such an intricate network develop right beneath our nose? Let's debate.
In the meantime, I'd like to go across on this very subject to Colonel Arisan Singh, General Bakshi, and Ambassador Deepak Vora. And I think since we have significant guests like Vikram Sood, our production team can make the arrangements, double check it and come back to me. Will that be possible? Can I be told whether it is possible? Right? Thank you. Otherwise, I'll do audio checks through the program. So my question goes, on this case, to Arisan first. Arisan, how do you read this? So many names coming up overnight in plenty.
See, Arnab, what has changed from earlier times is this online business. You know, online recruitment, online inducements, online, honey trap. This is one thing that has happened, and we actually, this is where the courts come in. Today, only I read one of the news pieces where the honorable court said that just because a man is, has ideological leanings towards the Popular Front of India, he cannot be tried. So this is the dilemma that intelligence agencies have. After all, anybody you apprehend, he has to be tried in court of law. And if he or she gets away, then there is shame on you. You are shamed by the media and other agencies. So that is one of the pitfalls, I would say, of our system. Maybe the pitfalls of democracy. Not in all democracies this happened. The other thing has happened, Arnab, that earlier in university you were also in a university. The recruitment used to take place, at the academia, and people would get away with their, any kind of leanings, jihadi leanings, Marxist leanings, and till today they continue to flourish. The other thing what has happened is, and very, very significant, that as women, women's participation in all affairs of the country's life has increased in all arenas. So has consequently it has also increased in espionage. And when I was actually very surprised, for some years now, 2-3 years now, the extensive use of women for honey trap by Pakistan's ISI. I don't know if you are aware, so many security personnel, have been seduced by these women. Even officers.
Take it off.
And yes, and honey trap is something, Arnab, it can be a class 4 employee, and it can be the man right at the top. This is something happens. Then we have, so you were talking about, what has changed. See, I had the privilege of attending the, National Security Council Secretariat meetings for almost 8 years. And that was during Narasimha Rao's time and during Vajpayee Saab's time. One thing was very clear, that all the officials for all int agencies, they were totally, coherent as far as our, outlook towards, adversaries and enemies was concerned. But that changed subsequently. And as a result, what has happened, the ideological positions became anti-national to the extent that you very well knew that what are, these Tukre gang, from where are they being controlled? There was a person called Iqbal Chima, who was the man who orchestrated this entire Tukre gang. And so many political leaders attended it. And they were all in touch with Pakistan ISI because he was a Pakistani ISI man. He coolly left this country. And there, the leader of that gang, he was a Congress candidate. So what has happened, sir, today, that, while this girl called Malhotra, and, the people who have been caught, they are at class 4 rung, if you make four rungs, they are at the last rung, Jyoti Malhotra may be on the 3rd or 2nd rung because she was also a narrative builder. But above that, there are journalists. who are in the number two, journalists, academia, media, who are in the second run. You and I know very much. Some of them run YouTube portals, and the kind of hits they get. I also attended many portals. I don't get hits like that. They begin with a takeoff level of a lakh. Bakshi would agree with me. And then I'm not sorry to say, at the highest level, politicians, judges, court fixers. I mean, aren't they spies? If somebody asks you for details of Rafale in a sealed envelope.
No, 1 minute, sir. I think our General Bakshi, Colonel Addison Singh, I think at one level we must have a Lakshman Rekha on this. We're talking about spies and not people with leanings or people with views. We cannot mix that. And I'll just stop you there. So 1 minute, sir. I'm told Vikram Sood is back with us. Mr. Sood, can you hear me now, sir, clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. That's so much better. Mr. Sood, we've been talking about this spy explosion. Now, is it just that's being reported now, or has the incidence of low-level spying or espionage, in your view, actually increased? Or is it just being spoken about more after Operation Sindoor?
No, I don't know whether it's just the result of... I can't hear you now.
Sir, that's all right. I'm not saying anything. I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
But I could see your lips moving.
No.
Anyhow.
There's a delay. Just don't get distracted.
What you were saying was... Okay. What I'm saying is that espionage is a 24-hour, 24/7 job. So... whether this was ramped up before or after the operation, I don't know. I know actually nothing about these kinds of things. I can only speculate and say that this was a ring that was operating for quite some time, and maybe one spy ring has many other branches to it, and that's how they spread. And so once you break one, that leads you to the others. Okay, so that is probably what has happened, that one master spy or the resident has a lot of links, and they've stumbled upon the right guy, and now it is leading to other persons in the ring. I don't know. That's how I would look at it, perhaps. So let's see how it goes, because it's early days, and we'll know more as we go along.
Yeah, Mr. Sood, many of these people who are being caught now have been frequent travelers to Pakistan, have a lot of links across, and have been hosted there. Do our intelligence agencies not keep a watch on people who are, who have unusually intense trips to Pakistan, business with Pakistan, or associations in the Pakistan High Commission?
I really wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know who maintains these links, because the RAW did not. So it is the job of the special branch or the internal security agencies to keep a watch on them. The RAW would not be keeping a watch in India on these persons' activities. So that's how it goes in a democracy. You remember the famous grooming gang cases in Britain, where Pakistani men were guilty of rapes of white girls for years, and the police would not take cognizance of that for fear that they would be taken to be racist. I think that kind of psychology also works here. And that's what might have happened. We let them go in the interest of being fair to everybody, not to suspect anybody who goes.
You're saying that intelligence agencies would also be on the back foot of actually taking action against these people, because it would be seen to be anti-democratic, or it would not go down well in the system, or you would be seen to be targeting individuals.
Yeah. That could be one of the reasons, yes.
So you need a clear political direction then to act against these people.
Yeah, I think we've got the political direction now.
What kind of people?
Quite evident that we want.
What kind of people would Pakistan's intelligence agencies look for, sir? Can you give me a broad view? I mean, when a spy operation of one country looks at building assets in the other, what kind of people would be useful to them?
It's a luck of the draw. Actually, you start with that. You start with having to widen your scope of contacts, try and pick out people from there, see who's vulnerable, for what reason is he or she vulnerable, and what is the access they might have. It relates also to what kind of information you're looking for, what kind of intelligence you want to collect, whether you're looking for a saboteur or you're looking for an intelligence agent. And if you notice, apparently the people they have caught so far, if they had been really good, they would have known about Operation Sindoor in advance and what they were going to do. They didn't know that, mercifully. So it's not as if so it seems to me that it's a huge spy ring that has got all sorts of information about us. Let's see how it goes. It's difficult to say. It's still early days. Once they're interrogated, once they're questioned, then we'll know what activities they were doing. Some of it may not even come out in the open.
It may not come out in public, but I have to ask you one last question, sir. So these, in your understanding, people who compromise their country's interests, I know it's difficult to put a number to it. Do they do it more for ideology, that they hate India, or they are part of a jihadi ideology or a Ghazwa-e-Hind ideology, for example, or do they do it just for money? What are the usual motivations why people work against their own national interests?
The first motivation is money and the good times. And then you move on from there to whether you're looking for an ideological spy, you're looking for a political spy, or you're looking for a military spy, then you move on from there to that category and motivate him wherever you want to motivate him. If you want to motivate him to do something in Gyanvapi, you'll find a particular person to try and use him. Or where you want to use him for in the military services, you want to pick up a guy who has contacts in the cantonment or in the army headquarters or wherever.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. But money is a great attraction. Ideology can be faltered also at times.
And you end up, and maybe these people get compromised very quickly. I mean, that's once compromised, there's no looking back.
If you have if you're working in a ring, then one compromise and the whole ring would tend to collapse, at least one to the other. But there are many solo operators who operate on their own, and you never, because if he's picked up, there's nobody else that you can.
What do you mean by solo operators, sir? What do you mean by solo operators?
Tracing him back is. Well, he comes here, he works with, he's a spy, but he doesn't have, others connected in the ring to collect different kinds of information or operate different places. Then they come and report to him, and then he sends off the report. But if he's operating by himself, sending reports on his own, then it's him and nobody else.
One more question, Mr. Sood. In all your years, you've been the grand spy master of the country, working on external intelligence, of course. Have you come across any? I don't want you to reveal names. No, you don't have to reveal names with me. without revealing names, have you come across instances of unusual people, unexpected people, high-profile people in India who have been working against national interest?
There have been all sorts of people working in India. And you had Kumar Narayan, you had people working in authority. You had one army general, I think, the two brothers who were picked up by the Americans and they were subsequently thrown out. I forget their names now. They were there, and so it's not strata oriented. It's the important thing is whether your spy has access to the information you want or the ability to do what you want him to do. It may be somebody high up, it may be somebody lower down in the category. So that's how it works in our system.
Yep.
You have to take your chances. It doesn't mean that, the rate of success is 1 in 50.
Problem is that you can't act in this country. The moment you act, people scream human rights. The moment you act, there's a whole group standing there screaming human rights.
That has been our problem.
Yep. We should change that.
We are always scared of...
Shouldn't we change that?
Or cautious about this.
Shouldn't we change that? Mr. Sood, do you think we should change that now?
It's about time. It's about time we should do that. It's about time we took action as it deserved to be taken, as in any other case. That if you are a spy, you are a spy.
That's it.
And in the past, there were many spies who were picked up who were not necessarily not on the basis of their religion, but they were spies. They were in the Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Home Affairs or wherever.
Yep.
So we go by the deed or the ill deed, not by the person himself.
Yep.
And that's the way to do it.
Yep.
That you are guilty of espionage, not of your religion or association.
Yep.
And that's, unless we learn to do that, accept that this is how it will be, we let a lot of them escape.
Yep. I think we should make examples of...
Hope that after... Possibly, yes. Maybe that's what they will do. But we'll have to strengthen our services also. Our intelligence services.
Yep.
Because communications are not by letters or telegrams or things like that. AI and internet and WhatsApp make communication so much easier.
And trackable.
You can create a riot in 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, and the news goes around all over the country in a flash. How are you going to react to it in real time? You just don't know.
I think so. I think to strengthen democracy, you need to make sure these weaknesses don't exist. There are no entry points. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Vikram Sood, for your perspective this evening. It's a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, going back to General Bakshi on that one. General Bakshi, Vikram Sood and Deepak Vora, he was obviously measuring his words out there, but he did reveal a lot in terms of what makes a good spy. Now, these 26 or 27 who are caught are not that good, otherwise they wouldn't have been caught. But something, General Bakshi, has changed. Either the government said, go after them. There must be some low-lying information about these activities, but maybe in the typical democratic spirit, we have said, let them be, rehne do, keep them keep a watch, but don't arrest them. And that's changed now. How do you think, General Bakshi?
you know, one possible reason for this sudden explosion of, unmasking of spies could be that, when there is a crisis like Operation Sindoor erupts, the spy handlers try and activate their contacts and try and, ferret out information and try and pressurize them to get them information. Most of these, those that have been caught, could either be due to ideological reason, but Arnab, don't forget that spying is the second oldest profession, right? And it shares a lot in the motivation, mercenary motivations, with the oldest profession in the world, right? You have loose morals, you have no compunctions on letting your country down. I can't think of a greater idiot than this girl. I can't think of a greater fool than this stupid girl. And you showed a very nice picture in which Maryam Sharif, the Chief Minister of Punjab, is looking at her like some low form of life. The contempt with which,
that shot is there. Show that.
The contempt is showing in her face. That shot. I mean, you should be ashamed. You couldn't find any other country apart from China and Pakistan to visit. I mean, there is something called common sense. Common sense, but it is getting to be a hell of a rare sense. You want to show us, Pakistan from the tourist perspective, for God's sake, that is a God-forsaken country, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on the verge of starvation. It is full of anarchy and chaos, and you want to market it as a tourist destination. Yeah. And what the hell was she doing in Pahalgam just before this thing? I'm curious. I'm very curious as to why she chose to visit Pahalgam. Don't forget David Coleman Headley. He had been sent around to scout the targets in Mumbai. He's the guy who picked up the Mauli thread and took it to hand over to the 10 assassins. So that when they died, when they were riddled with their bullet-riddled corpses were found, they would find the Mauli thread and blame it all on Hindu terror. So, I mean, there are perverse levels of motivation, mercenary motivation. The 3 W's, apart from singing, have been very prominent in how you snare a spy. And then, Mr. Vikram Sood brought out very clearly, when you are looking to recruit a spy, you also look at his access to the kind of information. Most of these are, I would say, very low-level spies, low down in the food chain of spying. You would look for cipher operators, you would look for some clerk or some PA, in the Ministry of Defense, in the Armed Forces headquarters. There was that famous case of Kumar Swamy, who was swindling some of the most sensitive information out for bottles of scotch which were being handed down. And that was, it was one of the foreign attaches of a European country. It was not even Pakistan, it was not even this. And from there they were dishing out that information all over. So it's extremely complex, human nature. But I find that the bulk of the people involved, they have been to Pakistan at some time or the other.
They have been.
So I think these people are very obvious targets. All of them have been to Pakistan either to visit relatives. I am given to understand the initial conversations that took place with this Malhotra girl. She has some relatives across. I can't understand this dual ancestry, but she has some relatives across whom she was visiting. And the day you get to the Pakistani embassy for a visa, they have half the staff there is ISI.
But in today's day and age where information...
And they get picked up, and then once you are in...
Yes, sir.
Arnab, I'll just make one point. Once you get caught, you sink deeper and deeper and deeper into that quagmire, right? The right thing to do is own up at the first, go to your officer above you and tell him this is what has happened to me. Maybe people can then make use of you for reverse penetration, etc.
But now
whatever.
the thing is that...
But once you are ridden with guilt, then you are blackmailed.
So the thing is, what appears to me, I'm just using common sense here, RSN can know more, but I'll go to Deepak ji, is that what I find, Deepak ji, here, you can tell us about how you think this works, Mr. Vora. Because these people are quite daredevils in the sense that they are exchanging money, taking money from Pakistan High Commission on UPI, they are taking money on digital instruments, they are sharing pictures and messages and documents and information about army camps, air bases, BSF camps, airports to the ISI on digital platforms. I mean, I don't know, do we have something wrong here? You see, the problem we need to assess also. I do not know what our counterintelligence, counter-espionage, national security structure is. We have Intelligence Bureau and we have RAW. And then we have National Security Council. But where is things need to be very strongly centralized. I believe somewhere, I'm not an expert on this, we've compartmentalized it into various government departments. Given the challenge we face, we need people who are experts in all these areas and can also work as a kind of nodal hub for national defense. We do not have a national security infrastructure that is completely coherent and linked in. Suddenly we've woken up after Operation Sindur ki sabko pakdo. But till now, what were we doing? Or do we not do it on an ongoing basis? Mr. Voda.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, sir. I've listened to what Mr. Sood said. I've listened to General Saab, whom I respect, and of course, Colonel Singh. Right now, I'm in Prayagraj. I just had a dip in the Triveni and prayed for everybody. So let me put it to you from a different perspective, if you permit. And if you permit, may I speak, unlike Mr. Sood, who measured his words, may I speak bluntly, clearly,
yes,
without
sir.
delay?
Love that.
Would you permit me to do that, sir?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I've noticed, the first thing I noticed is the linkage of these spies with Islam. We find 9 out of 10 are Muslims. Forget this stupid woman. But everybody else is a Muhammad or an Ahmed or something. And I'm saying it now bluntly, sir. So there is a religious element, and they seek to, the enemy seeks to recruit people belonging to a particular religion. Second point that I found very interesting, sir. Is it only Pakistan that is interested in spying on India? Or are other countries, the Western nations, the more powerful nations, using Pakistan spies to also find out about India? Let me be blunt about it. Sir, you've started this brilliant movement called the Nationalist Collective. It's not just this little pipsqueak called Pakistan that is concerned about us. They're the big fellows who are scared of India's rise. We're a technological powerhouse, sir. We're a human resource powerhouse. We've done so much. We're achieving every day. These guys will also be involved in spying. And how do I deal with this? You know, one of the things that comes to my mind, again, I don't know if Colonel Singh or Mr. Sood or you would agree. When I was in school, we used to have classes called moral science, and this was discontinued. Why not security science? Why don't we try and develop a security mindset to understand that we are unstoppable? The only thing that can stop us is ourselves and the people who are willing to be stopped. They gain nothing. If this message goes across that betraying your country is worse than murder, 193 members of the UN, General Bakshi, and I've been studying them, I've been researching this ever since I joined the Nationalist Collective. Almost 150 I've researched. Treason warrants life imprisonment or the death penalty. Where they have the death penalty, it's death. Where they don't, then it's lock the fellow up or the person up and throw away the key. Isn't it time, I believe, sir, through Republic, through Mr. Goswami, through you, through the collective, to bring this change here? That no question of talking about democracy is not an excuse for non-performance. It's not an excuse to weaken your country. So I'm 74 years young, and I've seen this. You think they didn't attempt to recruit me in my first posting in Paris? Of course they did. But the moral values I got from my parents were just so strong. I said, get lost. I'm not going to be recruited by you fellows. So what I'm trying to get across, I don't know if I'm succeeding, that if the people, the person in the street, if we have this security mindset, that nothing matters more than India. Prime Minister was speaking recently at a conclave, sir, where he said, we are heading towards developed country status. All right, I won't live to see that day if it's 2047, 22 years from now. But he also said to the young people, he said, aapki to mauj ho gayi. This is the kind of thing that the West doesn't like. They are seeing the emergence. They made a mistake with China. Now they don't want, in their perception, make the same mistake with India. And therefore, all this spying business and all this nonsense trying to weaken India. I would therefore urge the millions of people who watch your show, develop this security mindset. Be aware that you are not going to be accepted simply because you're a civilizational state or you practice yoga or you have Bollywood or whatever. You will be accepted, sir. This is my conviction. Who cares? Who loves the Communist Party of China? But they're afraid. I don't think the West loves Israel, but they accept Israel as a technological partner, as a useful friend to have. That's what India is heading for, where we are accepted because of our strength, not because of our civilizational heritage. It's power respects only power, so as Chanakya said, and I firmly believe that. So my appeal to all those watching is just come out and share this. There's nothing, don't worry if the fellow is from a particular religion or a particular community. The nation transcends every religion, is bigger than every religion, than any community, than any ethnic group, sir. I rest my case. If I've said too much, forgive me.
No, I think you put it very well, and your thoughts exactly. I want to go back to RSN. We should stop being defensive. It doesn't matter what religion you're from. You can be Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, any religion. If you're a spy, you're a spy. If you're working against national interest, you cannot hold the cover of a religion and say that you're being targeted for your religion. You know, can Jyoti Malhotra say she's being targeted for being a Hindu? Or Tufail say, I'm being targeted for being a Muslim? We bring religion into this, sir, because we bring politics into it, sir.
Yeah.
And in the past, I can tell you this, that when we started Republic, we did a story, Deepak Vora, about people who were recruiting, right, for the Al-Qaeda from Hyderabad. We took the risk, we did that story. We had the sting, we had the tape. And the moment the person was arrested, we had a political party landing up in the police station saying the individual is being targeted because he's a Muslim. That was very wrong. And the problem is that the media also is not forthright. Nothing comes in the way of national interests, sir. So I'm totally with you on this. But on the point of security mindset, I link it to security infrastructure also. And I would like to get RSN's view on this because he's been in RAW. That have we compartmentalized our security infrastructure? RSN, we have a lot of talented people who are experts in all kinds of things, from technology to geopolitics to science, economics, who will work for national interest. But the point is, we don't have a fixed infrastructure. We have the bureaucracy, the cadre-based services that we've inherited from the British. We haven't built a 2025 ready security infrastructure in this country. And Operation Sindoor has woken all of us up. Why didn't we know? How did it happen? Why did Pahalgam happen? How did they infiltrate? What have we done after that? So we need to maybe change our mindset into a 24/7 ever-ready fighting mode. And maybe for that we need to make some organizational, infrastructural changes as well. Your thoughts, RSN?
No, you started your program basically on, counterintelligence apparatus. That is what we are talking about, how to prevent this, espionage, spies. If I may tell you that, I was there in RAW when this fellow Rabinder Singh was caught. So the leads were there. They were following him for a very long time. And I remember suddenly, one day when as we were about to exit the building, we were said that everything is shut and we don't have to move. And the then National Security Advisor, he said, that this espionage, such things do take place. But he said, I don't know why this man was so important to them. This is what he had later said. But let me also tell you that from there, when you are talking about counterintelligence, we have a crack outfit called, Delhi Police Special Cell. You don't know how many terrorist attacks they have foiled. or prevented from taking place. 99.9%, sir. But here what has happened is that, see, and by the way, before, because the time is short, I must also tell you that one of the biggest reasons for this success, Operation Sindhu till now, has been utmost secrecy. Very difficult, sir, very difficult. We fought a technological war, let me tell you. And therefore, the powers that be, including National Security Advisor Mr. Ajit Doval and the highest leadership, that is Mr. Modi, they ensured that there were no digital footprints or human footprints, sir. Otherwise, I'm telling you, had it been, say, 2 decades back, a safe guess I'm taking, the plans would have leaked. It has always leaked from either from this side to that side or from that side to this side. This is one of the major reasons for our success, of Operation Sindhu. Now we are, as far as, yes, you are absolutely right. We need to get our, this counter-intelligence apparatus together. And I'm fed up of this, interagency rivalry. Fed up. This one upmanship, मैं बड़ा तू छोटा, इसका your limitation, your limit of intelligence collection or counter intelligence stops here. You are absolutely right. We need to function as a coherent counter intelligence apparatus, and I hope we learn from this. But nevertheless, let me tell you that this lady who has been picked up, I think the footprints are growing. And where does it lead to? I don't know. Earlier, I thought that it is only at the lowest rung, that is the 4th rung. It is now gradually moving to the 3rd rung, then the 2nd rung, and well, it may just reach the 1st rung also. Today, what has happened is that you will all agree that the biggest challenge we have, when you compare from the past, is that, this expansion of social media, sir, a big challenge for intelligence agencies, sir. Then this, financial transactions, sir. ये जो आपका cryptocurrency and, that kind of very difficult.
Yeah. I've always had a problem with cryptocurrency because, the basic system works on anonymity. I want a last word here to General Bakshi. This has been a very interesting and different discussion. General Bakshi, today, when we talk about defending the country, we've woken up after Operation Sindoor. People are nationalists. I'm so happy so many people have joined Nationalist Collective. But the fact is, if we want to compete with America and China and Russia for a place in global power play, we must have a better organization in which foreign policy, internal threats, external threats, counterintelligence, use of technology, human intelligence, political decision-making must all come together. We don't have a system. We have a National Security Council. But I guess it needs to be more empowered. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be, the whole system needs to be wider. We need to work on a 24/7 war footing now. So what do you think, General Bakshi? Your thoughts on this finally, sir?
No, certainly, Arnab, we have to get our act together as far as counter-intelligence is concerned. We as a people are far too trusting. We don't have that, to look at things with suspicion. It is not in our nature to be suspicious, actually. And we need to develop that, antenna should get up. I'm very sure, Arnab, all the people who have been to Pakistan and the bulk of the people in this list of the latest set of traitors, they have been to Pakistan. I'm sure they were on the counter-intelligence radar. It cannot be. The moment a man crosses over into Pakistan, his chances of getting, approached, his chances of getting indoctrinated, tapped for these kind of things, indoctrinated, picked up, turned around, subverted, compromised, is very high. I think there should be a system of debriefing all our people who go into Pakistan and come back, so that we nip the evil in the bud and we don't, wait for it to, grow up into a big mass, gather mass before it is, nipped in the bud. it should
absolutely.
be nipped in the
It should be.
bud. All of these. The common factor is they have all been to Pakistan. And
That's
they
been
should,
one major
by all
common
rights,
factor.
have been under the radar of our security agencies.
I think we need to be a strong nation. And also on the point Deepak Vora made, their civilizational values the world will not understand. We may try to teach them, but they will understand the language of strength. And eternal deterrence is the basis of strength. I thank you very much, Ambassador Vora, RSN, and General Bakshi. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to appeal to everyone to join the Nationalist Collective. It is our small effort towards bringing people with a nationalist philosophy together. The website is up. Please take a look. Have a great weekend. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDA चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDA चटनी पुदीना मसाला।